Hey, Save Girls. Hey. So I am so excited about tonight's live broadcast. This is our first ever Save Girl check-in where we sit down with a couple of our Save Girl bosses that are out here doing big things for the kingdom. So I am so excited about tonight's guest. She has a special place near and dear to my heart. Is none other than my cousin, Courtney Barnes, aka my twin. She is the founder of a ministry called Authentically Woman. And again, I'm just so excited to have her on tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her into the studio so you guys can meet her.
Hi, twin.
Hey, hey. I am so honored to have you on tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on your platform. I really do appreciate it. And I'm really excited about tonight.
Thank you. Well, thank you for accepting my invitation to join us. So, for those that don't know you, because I know you, I've known you since you were, you were born. But for those that don't know you, don't go way back with you. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Who is Courtney?
Yes. So, my name is Courtney Renee Barnes. I am 24. I am the youth leader at Kingdom Covenant Empowerment Center under Dr. Bishop Ramon Johnson. So shout out to KCEC. And I'm also the founder of Authentically Woman.
Wow. Okay. So Courtney, that is all her, accolades and accomplishments. But like I mentioned earlier, Courtney is my younger cousin. I have known her all 24 years that she has been on this earth. If you guys are friends with us on Facebook, you'll see us refer to each other, as twin. I don't even know if she probably even remembers why we call each other twins.
I think I do. There was one Sunday we were going to church, and didn't we have one matching outfit?
Yes.
Yep.
And she had to be like 3 or 4. She's like, we're twins. So ever since then, she has been my twin. But it has just been an honor and a privilege to watch her throughout these years to grow up into such a beautiful, responsible, intelligent, godly young woman. So again, it's my honor to even be able to share tonight. You are so welcome. And hear you share more about Authentically Woman. So tell everyone, what is Authentically Woman and what was the inspiration behind your ministry?
Yes. So Authentically Woman is a nonprofit that the Lord actually gave to me January of 2023. And I'll share a little bit of my story because it all ties into what this is and how this was birthed. So back in 2021, I decided to go back to school. I went to the North Carolina at A&T. I'm not gonna do the long name, but yes, I went to North Carolina A&T. And when I left off to college, I really didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. And in that stage of my life, I just felt as if, I really didn't have really a purpose. I didn't know what was my purpose. And so I went to college and, again, I went in undecided, just not knowing, what is my purpose? What is my reasoning for being here? And of course, as we navigate through life and we grow into who we all go through those stages of just trying to figure out what our purpose is. And sometimes with finding that, it comes with, I don't know, you just experience a lot of, we process a lot of emotions mentally. And so for me, some of the things that I experienced was major anxiety. I dealt with a little bit of depression. And then I felt as if I was, 23, going back to school. In my mind back then, I felt as if it was too late and that it was the end. And while I was in college, I kind of got mixed up in, the wrong crowd in a way, because I didn't know who I was and I really didn't know whose I was, at the time. So anyway, I was in college about a semester and then I had to come back home. And that was really, really hard. And that was the beginning of 2022. Because by then, like, I was going through major anxiety attacks. Like, it was really, really hard. So I made the decision to come back home abruptly in the middle of the second semester. And when I came home, I felt feelings of embarrassment,
Mm.
defeat. Like, it was really like difficult for me because my family sent me off. Everybody was rooting for me. My church family, they donated a lot to me, gave me money to go back to school, and it was just embarrassing. And I felt as if I let everyone down. Um, and still, I still didn't know, what I wanted to do. And so I remember this one particular time, I was getting ready for work because I found the job after I came back home. And I just burst into tears while I was getting ready. And I remember just laying on the floor, just crying. And I heard God say to me, like, it wasn't a mistake.
Mm.
Everything that you encounter in your life, it wasn't a mistake. And of course, I cried like a baby, just knowing that everything that I went through in my life was for a reason. The hardships from, being a little girl and, my mom being a single mother and, me having self-esteem issues as a child, it wasn't a mistake. And God was going to use, everything that I went through. Um, but it didn't, with that being a mistake and him using that, it didn't all just take off at that moment.
Right.
God had to build me and prep me and prepare me for everything that he had in store for me. So that whole year I still dealt with anxiety. um I would wake up in the middle of the night, like with my heart just pounding, and it was a lot. Waking up everybody in the house is,
Mm.
just feeling like it was over. And I would go in my quiet place with God and I would pray and have those conversations with him and like, God, what are you doing? When am I going to exit this stage? When is the sun going to shine on my face again? Like, what are you doing in this moment? And God kept telling me, like, Courtney, hold on. I'm going to show you, and I want to show you your purpose. Just hold on. Um, so yes, from there, it took about a year. I got baptized um, in November of 2022. So I recommitted my relationship with God, and that was honestly the best thing I could have ever done. From there, I started fasting, and I realized that I was gravitating more to who God like creating me to be in the first place. I started getting my confidence back, the anxiety. It was there because we all have anxiety. We all do. However, it wasn't as severe as it was, before. And so, yes, after that, I started getting back into my youth. I took over leading the youth and things like that. Um, so going on to January of this year when God gave me authentically. Oh, also, I do want to talk about a dream that I had before I happened to January.
Okay.
So, when I had first came home, I was still confused as to what was going on with me, and God gave me a dream. I was like in the bathroom stall, and this lady was like, it was me and this other girl, and this lady was like, okay, you're going to take a pregnancy test. So I was like, what do I need to take a pregnancy test for? And so, so I took the test anyway. We were like standing in the bathroom stall, me and another female. And so the lady, she came back, she had on the scrub. She was like, she pointed to the girl that was beside me. She was like, you're not pregnant, but you are. Like, she pointed to me and so that I was. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Like, how far along am I? She's like, you're 35 weeks. And so I knew instantly, like in the spirit, like what I was going through, like God was birthing something
Right.
through me. So yeah, so I had that dream. So anyway, fast forward to January. I was taking our little cousin. No, sorry, I had made my prayer board. So this was January, the first week of January. And so I'm like, okay, God, like, you know, I feel as if I'm ready to, jump back out there. Um, but what do you want me to do? And so on my prayer board, I was like, I want to be surrounded by godly women, young women who have the same, you know, um, intentions as I do, as wanting to pursue my relationship and stay as close to God as possible. Um, and so the following week, I was taking our little cousin Jasmine to college. And I was asking her, I was like, are you in any organizations? And she's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, why? You can start your
Mhm.
own organization. And you know how sometimes you give people advice, and right when you're giving them advice, your voice projects like back to you.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, that's what God is telling me to do.
Mhm.
He's telling me to start my own thing. And so that's how Authentically Woman was birthed. I realized the more I got closer to God, the more I became my true authentic self, because God is our manufacturer, He's our creator, and He knows all the content that He put inside of us. And the only way you're gonna be aware of that content is if you get closer to God. And as you get closer to God, that is how you revert back to your authentic self. And that's where Authentically Woman was birthed. That's how it was
Wow.
birthed.
Excuse me. But I love your testimony and your transparency. I don't know if you can see the comments, but
Yeah.
they are loving and they are so proud of your transparency and how you're sharing your story. And I love how you mentioned, everything you went through wasn't for anything.
Mhm.
I know you see Irene's watching them. Her favorite scripture was Romans 8:28. Is that God, all things work together for the good of those that love God. So everything
Mhm.
that you went through, I love how you mentioned even now, God is using those things,
Mhm.
even in this dream that He birthed,
Yeah.
um, with Authentically Woman. And it's going to help so many other young women out here that may be going through things, particularly women in your age group, your demographic. A lot of times when we think about things like stress and anxiety and depression,
Mhm.
we think of older, like you think your age group, like what do y'all have to be depressed about, what do you have to be anxious about, not knowing the things that you deal with
Mhm.
at that age. So reaching girls that are in college and that are going through things and dealing with those mental health issues, I believe is so important. And it's going to reach so many young women. So thank you for sharing that. Thank
Yes.
you for sharing your journey,
Yeah.
and what you went through, because there is another young woman that is going to watch and is going to be inspired by your story.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Authentically Woman. So
Yes.
when God gave you, I know like a lot, well, I can speak for, myself. A lot of times when God gives us visions or dreams, a lot of times we're like, well, God, are you sure? Like, I don't know if I want to,
Yeah.
do I want to do it? I don't know. Like, were you hesitant at all to step out, or were you just like, okay, I'm going to do this? Like, what were your feelings when He
Oh,
gave you this?
yes. I was definitely hesitant. Like, it definitely took me a while, because I'm like, God, are you sure? Like,
Mhm.
is this all in my head? Like, is this what you want me to do? But it took a lot of fasting and praying. Like,
Mm.
2022, well, the end of 2022 and 2023 is when I really learned how to fast. And
Mm.
man, like cutting off like your fleshly desires and fasting so that you can hear from God, like it's definitely a necessity, because without that, I would have never like had the confirmation to actually step out on my own to do this.
And
So
can I applaud you even for that? Because let me just be honest, for those you're big cut. Like when it comes to certain disciplines.
mhm,
Okay, God, I pray. I
yeah,
have faith, but fasting, the F word, okay, that's still one of those things. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
God. So, but I know how important it is. I know how big of a piece, like you said, cutting off your fleshly desires. But I have to be
mhm,
real, be like, oh, God, that has been, one of those things that I have struggled with, still struggle with.
yeah.
Yes, I ain't alone. Y'all, at least I'm not alone. I ain't the only one,
You are alone. No.
I think one of the biggest things in the Bible, out of all the miracles that Jesus did, when he said he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, I'm like, what? Like,
Mhm.
how? Because
Mhm.
I get to 4 hours and I'd be like ready to be like, okay, God, you know my heart, but I need
Yeah.
chicken. But
Yeah. My
I
first time
know
fast.
definitely a necessity.
Yeah.
So
Yes, for sure. Like my
um
first time
that is
fasting, I
something.
definitely sorry, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying my first time fasting, I definitely wanted to just like, sometimes we be like making excuses like, okay,
Mhm.
like I'm just gonna just eat. Cause I went on a dry fast. So like
Mhm.
I fasted from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I was making excuses like, okay, well, I'm just going to eat some fruit or I'm just going to drink
Yeah.
some coffee. But yeah, it was definitely challenging to stick in. But I'm glad that I did.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good. And again, that's something else you can even help others with.
yeah.
Is that fasting piece. I'll be the first one to sign up for, yes, to help me Lord with fasting class.
Yeah.
So so you have this ministry.
Mhm.
Um what is the vision behind Authentically Woman? What is your vision? What do you see it doing and helping?
Yes. So my vision is to help women, like young women within my age range.
Mm-hmm.
So like between 18 and like 30
Mm-hmm.
to encourage them to connect to God. And like some people think that, especially like within my age range, like when you connect to God, that your life, becomes boring and you have to, just, I mean, that's the opposite of it.
Right.
Like, when you connect to God, like it's the best thing
It
ever.
is.
And
And
so,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and so, my goal is to encourage them to connect to God. I mean, everyone's relationship with God is very unique. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the way that God intended it to be, because God can tell you to go left and tell me to go right, but what we're doing is both for the sole purpose to glorify God and
Right.
to, do the things um, that He intended for us to do while we're here. And so definitely encouraging them to connect to Him, letting them know, don't be ashamed of your past, things that have happened to you, things that not only that you've done to yourself, but that other people have done to you. Like, don't be ashamed of that. And definitely encourage them to, worship God. And with connecting to God, yes, there are some basic things that we all have to do.
Right.
So, attending church, praying, having our daily communication with Him. But everyone has different styles of doing things
Right.
when it comes to glorifying God. Some people may be able to go and preach on a platform with thousands of people. Some people may be able to sing. Some people may be able to dance or start a nonprofit. So definitely encouraging them to, tap into your own uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once they do that, they become their authentic self. And I also want to implement programs to help with that development. So, nutrition classes, financial classes, different events or date nights where we all, go out and dress up the way that we want to dress up, and not fit it in the standards of, other young women who, are in the world.
Right. And I think that's such a powerful name, even the name itself, Authentically Woman. And you were saying, teaching young women how to be their authentic selves and,
Mhm.
how much power there is in just being authentic.
Yes.
So I love seeing, the younger generation, the girls your age that are being their authentic selves, and you're serving as an example that you can be your authentic self
Mhm.
and still live for God, and you can still
Yes.
be fun, and you can still, be cute, and you can
Mhm.
still, have a life and still live for God. So I think that's so important for, the younger generation, the girls your age, to
Yes.
see that that is possible and that there is power, like you said, in your authenticity, whatever that
Mhm.
looks like for you, that God is going to use it because he created you. He knew
Right.
you before he even put you in your mother's womb. So he created you to be this authentic person. And
Mhm.
there's somebody out there that's going to be connected to that authenticity, whatever that may look like.
Yes.
So I think that is so, important. And I'm so proud to see you out there. And I wish, we would have had something like this, Authentically Woman, when I was your age.
Yeah.
But I'm so, happy that you guys have that now and that you found yourself and found this relationship with God,
Mhm.
when you did so much earlier. Because so many of us, so much of the older generation, like we are in our late 20s, 30s, still trying to get it finally, get back. So to
Mhm.
see someone your age 24 that loves God and is showing other young women, that is to me a commendable thing. So I'm just
Thank
so,
you.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Not just as your cousin, but as a woman of God. Just proud of you for what you're doing and stepping out for this
Thank you.
generation.
Thank
So
you.
you're welcome. So tell the people you have a paint night coming up. Tell
Yes.
everybody about your paint night.
Yes. So, the paint night is, so the theme is the perfect touch.
Okay.
um you know it's just a event for women, for all of us to come out together and paint and enjoy each other, and great conversation. We're going to have mocktails there, paint, encouragement, giveaways. So I'm very excited. The admission is $25, and you can RSVP on Authentically Woman's page. The link is there, and register. So I'm very excited
I think I
for the
see
event.
it. Let's see. This is the website. Yep.
Yes.
So make sure you guys go. If you have not already registered, make sure you go
Mhm.
to the website and get your ticket. When is the ticket? When do they have to have the ticket by?
Yes. So registration closes May the 13th.
Okay.
And then the event is June the 3rd.
June the 3rd. Okay. So y'all heard
Mhm.
that May 13th, ladies. $25.
Yes.
And that gets you admission into the paint night and everything
Mhm.
else that comes with it. So
Yes.
for a nice, night getaway, fun night with your girls, make sure you
Mhm.
register. And then it'll be on June 3rd. At what
Mhm.
time?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay. So for us older folks, that's still early enough to get out, have fun, and get back home and get to bed.
Yeah.
For the younger ones are still straddling the fence, you can still go out afterwards and do what you do. So it's a nice time for everybody.
Yes.
So so tell us about the future. Would you have any future events or future? I know you mentioned some programs, but different things you
Mhm.
have in the future that you see for Authentically Woman.
Yes. So I definitely plan to have a women's Bible class.
Mm-hmm.
Either it can be virtually or in person. And then we're going to have that once every month. And that's actually going to start in July. I'm going to post a flyer on our page very soon. Another event that we have coming up is can't get it out, is our etiquette class that we're gonna have, and that's gonna come, in the fall time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. Yes, that's what we have coming up for now.
That's good. That's good. So if people are interested and they want to stay connected, of course, they want to learn more about your upcoming events and the things that you have going on,
Mhm.
where can they connect to you?
Yes. So, as of now, I'm on two social media platforms. I'm on Facebook at Authentically Woman, and then I'm also on Instagram at Authentically Woman _. So you can find me there. Yes.
So guys, make sure you connect to her on Facebook as well as Instagram, and that's where she'll have all her upcoming events. You can stay connected. I know
Mhm.
you mentioned like a Bible study, everything, but so just make sure that you guys go and connect. It's a new ministry, new page. You know how it is. We build us up on social media. So if you haven't already, go and like the page, go and follow
Thank you.
the page, and encourage her and let her know that we are out here supporting her. So definitely make sure you guys go out and do that and connect with her
Yes.
on her social media pages.
Yes.
So before we go, was there anything else that you wanted to share with the listeners and people that's tuned in about you, about your ministry, or just what's on your heart? You got a word, prophecy.
Yeah.
So what you want to do? The floor is yours.
Yes. I would just like to say, well, to leave off with, stay true to yourself, stay true to your authentic self. Definitely don't be afraid to stand out. It doesn't matter what it is, Um, don't do nothing crazy. But
Right. Within reason. But yeah,
yes,
be you
yes,
within reason.
yes. But definitely stay true to yourself. Definitely listen out for God and His instructions, because that is a key piece. Well, the whole thing, you know. Um, and so, yes, thank you for joining, Twin. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I really do appreciate it. I was telling my mom that I was just, so happy to be a part of this. And I watched you start from nothing and work your way all the way up to here. And I'm very excited and I'm very proud of you. And y'all, I've always looked up to my twin since I was a little girl. I've always looked up to her. So this is definitely a blessing, like, to have you in my life. And,
Right.
you know,
Thank
God knew we needed you, twin. So
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. And I need y'all. I just so, like I said, as I sit back and I watch you and Samantha and Jasmine and, the rest of the younger generation, I'm just so proud to see you guys stepping out and being successful and starting businesses and going to school and starting ministries. So
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things. I just always wanted to set a good example for my little cousins and my
Yeah.
little sisters,
Yeah.
and show them, I wasn't perfect, but,
To me, you were.
yeah,
To me,
what,
you were. I saw no flaws, like, twin.
well, thank you. But if y'all only knew the behind the scenes. But I thank God, because like you said, even with my story, everything that I went through and been through, God is still used, for His good. So I'm just so proud, and I was so proud to see you stepping out, and doing and into the woman that God has created you to be, and know that this is only the beginning. So you
Mhm.
guys, I want to go. If you feel like, what is your cash app? Because I believe in sowing seeds. So if
Thank
you guys
you.
have been blessed, what is your cash app?
So, my cash app is $
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Renee Barnes.
Edit. Make sure is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if you guys have been blessed by Courtney, um, and you are, wanting to sow into good ground, then
Yes.
make sure you guys send her a cash app, to sow a seed into her and to Authentically Woman and the mission and what she's out here doing, changing and bringing up a new generation of young women for the Lord. So
Hmm.
again, that is her cash app, Courtney Renee Barnes. I thank you again, Courtney, for coming on,
Thank
um,
you.
and sharing your time with me and, letting everybody know about what you have going on. Again, it's been my honor and my privilege to have you on
Thank you.
tonight. You guys make sure you connect with her on all her social media platforms. Make sure you have not already register for the paint night, and just stay
Mhm.
connected, because God is doing big things. God is
Yeah.
doing big things, and He's raising up a generation of Esther's, young Esther's like Courtney, who are not,
Hey, Trey.
I'll give a word. Don't let the devil use you, Trey. When raising up an Esther generation for such a time as this.
Hmm.
So, you guys, hey, Flash, yeah, see, can't just
Flash.
Flash, just can't let me be great. Almost done, just can't. But yeah, so I thank you guys for joining in tonight. Make
Yes. Thank you.
sure You guys connect to Authentically Woman as well as Save Girl Summer. You can connect
Yes.
with us on Instagram, Save Girl _ Summer. We're at Facebook at Save Girl Summer as well as YouTube, Save Girl Summer 984. So catch all those different channels for future lives and videos. We also have a Bible study with Brittany's coming up on Fridays. So I'll be doing a 5-minute Bible study as well as our next podcast episode on Sunday. That'll be coming up this Sunday. And then we have a brunch date to be determined, but we gonna be brunching. I don't know what day yet, but we gonna be brunching. So make sure you guys stay connected. And
Mhm.
until next time, Save Girls out. Good night.
Yeah, good
Love
night.
y'all.